Today, we are critiquing a breakdown of 5 potential dark horse teams for the 2026 World Cup, covering Colombia, Norway, Senegal, Morocco, and the Netherlands. Let's get right into it. The criteria used to define a dark horse here fluctuates way too much across the teams.
Yeah, it really muddies the overarching narrative. The weakness here is that a formal definition only shows up halfway through the text.
Right.
And it directly conflicts with the inclusion of historically dominant squads like the Netherlands or, recent semifinalists like Morocco.
Exactly. You end up with these paragraphs that awkwardly apologize for them being on the list.
Yeah, rather than confidently analyzing them. So the suggestion for improvement is to establish a unified, provocative framework in the very first minute.
And then ruthlessly apply that standard to every selected team.
Yes, exactly.
For a concrete example, you could strictly define a dark horse as a team outside the top 15 global rankings with 0 historical finals appearances.
Wait, but if we do that, does Morocco still fit? Because they were literally just in a World Cup semifinal.
Well, they absolutely can, but the framing has to shift. Instead of apologizing for them, you present Morocco as a unique test case.
Oh, I get it, like seeing whether a former underdog can survive the burden of newly established expectations?
Yeah, exactly. It explores how the label changes their tactics. It's not an apology, it's a feature.
That immediately gives the piece a stronger backbone. But moving on to the actual team breakdowns, the internal evidence supporting those selections relies way too heavily on reciting individual player club credentials.
Yeah, the sheer volume of peripheral player names and minor match statistics just completely buries the core strategic analysis.
It really does. The weakness is that rapid-fire listings of minor squad members and, their club goal tallies distract from the really compelling macro narratives.
Right. Reading that a midfielder scored 15 goals in the Bundesliga starts to feel like reading a fantasy sports draft rather than an analytical essay. We lose sight of things like Colombia's intense pressing system.
Totally. So the suggestion here is to anchor the analysis of each team around just 1 or 2 pivotal tactical themes or fatal flaws.
Yeah, you have to aggressively prune those secondary roster details.
Right. So for a concrete example, with Senegal, instead of naming 4 bench players just to prove depth, you focus entirely on how their specific 4-3-3 wide overloads are executed by their star wingers.
Spot on. And let's look at Norway, because there's a massive opportunity there. The material briefly touches on their players physically struggling with the U.S. climate.
Oh, the heat, yeah.
Right, so why not lean entirely into that climate clash narrative?
Oh, I love that, contrasting their immense attacking firepower with their documented inability to sustain physical exertion in the heat.
Exactly. It explains why a team with elite strikers might realistically collapse in the 70th minute of a group match.
Yeah, it makes the analysis predictive instead of just descriptive.
UI checklist, tick
Totally.
sound effects, positive, confirm
let's
tones,
recap this
futuristic
critique.
beats.
First,
UI
tighten the
checklist, tick sound
overarching
effects,
narrative
positive,
by
confirm
establishing
tones,
a rigid
futuristic
definition of a
beats.
dark horse up front.
Right. And second, prune the exhaustive player lists to focus deeply on core tactical themes, like the ones we discussed for Norway and Senegal.
We genuinely want to see where you take this. Please implement these actionable shifts and submit the revised material back to us for another critique. Today, we are critiquing a breakdown of 5 potential dark horse